I thought my husband lacked drive. Turns out, I was the one holding him back. My name's Erica. I'm 35. And if I'm being honest, I used to pride myself on being the woman who never settles. In my world, mediocrity wasn't an option. It was a disease. I grew up watching my mom work 2 jobs and still come home exhausted and bitter. I promised myself, that won't be me. So I chased everything that looked like success. High-paying job? Check. Designer clothes? Obviously. A partner who matched my ambition? Well, that's where I thought I nailed it. Until I realized I'd misunderstood what real drive looks like. I married Sean when I was 29. He was calm, grounded, and annoyingly content. He worked at a local wildlife rehab center, earning less in a year than I spent on handbags. But he loved what he did. Said helping injured animals fed his soul. I used to laugh at that. Quietly, behind his back. At first, it didn't matter. We were in love. Or at least I thought we were. But after the honeymoon phase ended, the resentment kicked in. Not from him. From me. I hated how satisfied he seemed with less. I'd come home from 12-hour shifts at my tech firm and find him barefoot in the backyard, feeding a baby raccoon like some woodland saint. And I'd feel rage. Pure, cold, irrational rage. I didn't attack him directly. I'm too calculated for that. Instead, I used sarcasm. Glad one of us gets to save the world while the other pays the bills. You know you could probably make 6 figures with that compassion if you just rebranded it. He never fought back. Just smiled in that maddening, peaceful way that made me feel like a monster. One night, we were at a friend's engagement party. Everyone was dressed to the nines, talking promotions, stock options, Teslas. When someone asked Sean what he did, he said, "I help animals recover from trauma." I scoffed, out loud. Then added, "Yeah, and I financed the recovery." The silence that followed could have shattered glass. Sean didn't say anything. Didn't yell. Just left. Quietly. Like a ghost. Later that night, he told me, "I don't think you like who I am anymore." I said, "I just think you could be more." He paused, nodded, and said something I'll never forget. "You don't want a partner. You want a project." And he was right. 2 weeks later, he was gone. He moved out, took nothing but his guitar, his camping gear, and a photo of us from our first road trip. I stayed in the apartment, surrounded by expensive silence and a wardrobe full of labels that suddenly meant nothing. At first, I told myself I'd win him back, that he'd realize I was just pushing him to grow. But when I finally saw him again, 6 months later, he looked free, happier, leaner, tan from fieldwork. He was speaking at a wildlife conservation panel, and people were treating him like an expert. Because he was. And beside him sat Zoe, a veterinarian, the kind of woman who wore no makeup and still glowed, the kind of woman who didn't need to turn her husband into a trophy to feel proud of him. Turns out they'd been working together for years, but I hadn't even noticed. I never bothered to ask about his projects, his passions, his dreams. Why would I? I was too busy measuring worth in dollars and LinkedIn titles. I tried dating again, but no one felt real. They were successful, sure, but hollow. Transactional, like me. Then came the real punch in the gut. My therapist, I finally started seeing one, asked me, "Why did you feel the need to diminish him?" I didn't have an answer at first. But after months of digging, here's the ugly truth. I was scared. Scared that if his definition of happiness was real, then mine was a lie. Scared that love didn't require domination, just vulnerability. Now I sit alone in my beautiful apartment, wondering how the hell I became the villain in my own love story. Let's talk about this. Seriously. Have you ever pushed someone thinking you were helping? When really you were just controlling them? Where's the line between motivating and manipulating? Is it okay to joke about your partner's ambitions if you think they're not enough? Or is that just cruelty in disguise? I want to hear what you think.